Hello there, it's Pete over at the Sampleist, and today we are asking the question, should you upgrade to Kontakt 8? Native Instruments have been at the forefront of creating incredible tools to help make our compositions come to life. With software libraries, hardware, and of course Kontakt, Native Instruments are always innovating and constantly improving their music production tools. The majority of composers and producers will be familiar with the world of Kontakt, so today we ask the question, should you upgrade to Kontakt 8? You can purchase Kontakt 8 in several different ways. First of all, as a standalone product, so if you don't own any other versions of Kontakt, that's the one for you. There is also an upgrade path if you do own previous versions, which is cheaper, and then there are several different editions of Komplete that contain the full Kontakt 8. I'd like to take the opportunity to thank Native Instruments because they sent over a beta version of Kontakt 8 along with some of the new flagship libraries so we could make this video. And I've had Kontakt 8 for about a week and I've been playing around with it, and I have to admit there are so many steps forwards when you compare it to Kontakt 7. In fact, for some personal reasons of mine as well, I think this is one of the best versions of Kontakt yet. Of course, we do get the libraries and the software for free, but it doesn't in any way cloud our thoughts, ideas, and judgments on the software or libraries we receive. And this one specifically because I use Komplete Control. I have an S61 controller Mark III, and I use Kontakt every day when I compose. So I've got some really interesting and strong opinions on this version of Kontakt. So what we're going to do in this video, we're not going to have our usual format. There's no, walkthrough of the instruments and then go into a composition. I'm going to list the reasons that I feel Kontakt 8 is absolutely fantastic. And there are some areas where I feel like it can be improved. These are very minor and they may well improve when the full version is released. So I'm just going to remind you, I am using a beta version at the moment. So without further ado, let's jump in to Kontakt 8. Before we go any further, I just want to make it crystal clear that this video is being made from the viewpoint of the composer. Therefore, I will be showcasing instruments and libraries from both Native Instruments and, of course, third-party developers. Because after all, Kontakt is a one-stop shop for all of our Kontakt instruments. And I also want to see how the new features work with pre-existing third-party libraries as well. The first reason I feel like you should upgrade is the GUI. Now, the GUI looks just like the Kontakt 7 GUI. I love the color scheme, it really pops. However, with Kontakt 7, I had some issues in terms of presets and visibility, and it wasn't the most friendly user experience in all aspects. Yes, it worked, and it worked very, very well, and it was different, and it integrated my 61 Mark III keyboard beautifully. However, there are some changes that I'd like to see, and I'm really happy to say that Native Instruments have obviously gathered lots of feedback and made some creative design choices and just are now providing us with a fantastic user experience. So I'll highlight all this as we go through. Now, when you load up your Kontakt 8 instance, it goes to the default library page. I'm going to start at the bottom because we can remove this once I've gone through it really quick. New instruments for you. It's a great way to keep up to date with new releases from Native Instruments and their partners. If you want to check out an instrument, click on it. It will take you to their web page, or simply just collapse the window. Beautiful. Now we've got a working window in the middle, and you can see all of these different filters. So if you look at the instrument, we've got brand, we've got sound type, we've got character. You can just click through these and it will bring up different libraries. However, if you want a bigger working window, you can just do that and scroll through everything. So you've collapsed the filters, I guess. Now, you'll notice I've got album 4 here. This is a library that is authorized through native access, but it's not NKS compatible. Now, when you click on it, you will actually have all the presets. There's no previews, but you do get all the presets. And if I scroll further down, you'll see Assault, for example, and I could probably just go to a random page and find something pretty quickly. And it's just brilliant. So we've got 2 there, we've got shredded bass 2 and drums. It's a really cool feature. So it feels like you're expanding your library collection, as it were, if you've got any libraries in that authorization situation. There we go. Now, you got your search at the top. So I bought the Tommy Profit percussion, not because I wanted it. I mean, I did want it. It's very, very cool library. But just to check two things. So one of them, native access runs seamlessly. So you pop in your serial, the library comes out, you download it. You don't even have to load Kontakt in standalone mode. It will just read it and update the next time you open Kontakt. So that's very, very cool. Also, one thing that I do recommend is when you load it up for the first time, let it scan. I noticed with my Kontakt 7, I didn't let it scan, and I did the same thing with Kontakt 8, so I only had some of my libraries appear. I left this for 45 minutes just to be sure, and lo and behold, everything is there. So wonderful. Now, we're going to learn some really, really quick new features about Kontakt 8. I'm going to jump into these in more detail as the video goes. So across the top, we've got instruments. Okay, then we've got combined. Now, combined are all the multis from your instruments, and they're put into categories and folders. So let's say I go to Strike Force 2, and you can see these are the multis. I go to Scarby Bass, these are the multis. Symphoba's got lots of them. So you can double click on them and it will create a multi-Kontakt instrument. If I go into Kontakt, now I have installed some of the new combined presets, and these have previews. So they've got a little quaver next to them, and obviously the multi-graphic, which is those 3 lines. Very, very cool. Now, there is, if I go into Conflux, Conflux is one of the new instruments. There are 2, and I will get onto those shortly. But you can see in Conflux, everything has a preview. So this feels to me that the way forward for Kontakt 8 libraries that will be that everything has a preview. And you can control the preview down the bottom right. I could have turned that up a little bit, to be honest. Very, very cool. Okay, then we've got tools. Now, these tools aren't just some throwaway tools native instruments are thrown in. These are really, really deep. So we've got chords. Now, chords, you'll notice, has all of these different presets. And it's not just your standard major minor, throw a 7th on there, maybe the odd extension. This is really, really deep. So we're going to look at that a little bit later, and the phrases as well. Great inspiration builders, and again, really customizable and very, very deep. So that will be a later chapter of the video. And then we got our leaps. Now, these are all new. There are 12 of these, and if I was to play a preview. These combine loops and hits as well. I mean, let's face it, making music has never been so easy. That is awesome. So I believe in especially Komplete 15 Collector's Edition, all these appear, but they're new downloads anyway for Kontakt 8. And then we've got our loops. So speaking of the Collector's Edition, you get loads of these different packs. I have bought a couple as well, and I never really seek them out, but now they're here in front of us. Brilliant. And then we got one-shots. So one-shots. Lovely. So that is the categories up here, but this is the bit for me on this page that has been improved massively. If I just filter, actually. Let's go to Spitfire Audio. I know it's here somewhere. There we go. Now, there is a library, and it's just a good example. So it's a Spitfire Symphonic Orchestra. And all of these presets in the previous version, they're quite long. They're there's a lot of characters to each one. And previously, you couldn't read what they said. So if I just go to, I'm trying to think. Let's just go for some strings. Let's do some legato. There we go. So we get our preview. Now you can read mostly what's going on there, and of course you can resize the window, and you used to be able to do that, but when you resize the window there were like 3 columns and you couldn't do anything to change that, and then you spend ages trying to resize the GUI and you couldn't read them, and I wasn't massively happy, if I'm totally honest. But that has been addressed straight away. So if I just load up the Solpomp performance, I'll use some mod wheel because I always get told off for that. So it's not Solpomp, but there we go. Now, you can see we're in the next window, and this is absolutely awesome. So this fills the screen. I absolutely love it. The GUI looks fantastic. We've now got all of our sort of rack view that we had before, but it's all updated with the new categories, so you can go straight in with combined and all this. I was playing around with swing earlier, actually. Very, very cool stuff. And then you've got your instruments tab. Now you can load any instrument you want from here. However, there is no filtering at the moment, and I've said this is a beta version, so hopefully that's a feature native instruments add, because when I used to use, Komplete Control, I love Komplete Control, and I've moved away from it since sort of getting the S61 Mark III and being integrated to Kontakt 7, because you don't really need it. But it reminds me of that, because you could have the little images of all your libraries. You could type in a filter, or actually use a pre-made filter, so a vendor, for example, and that was really, really cool. So here at the moment, I'm kind of like scrolling through. I don't really know what I'm looking for at the moment, but you can see it's not as easy as just loading a new, as filtering by vendor. But I'm in Lunaris now. So let's just double click and load that. And the GUI will resize. I've left the previews on, but you can toggle them off, so I'll turn them off for now. And now we're in Lunaris. It's beautiful stuff. Now, a couple more differences. You'll notice at the top we don't have our familiar Kontakt window, because you can access different controls here. And of course, if you want to get rid of the instrument, you just click close instrument, and then you can go on to something else. So let's go on to Maximo for a laugh. I love these phrase-based players, as you know from other videos. Also an NKS partner, so do check them out. Lovely. And it loads up, and let's play a chord. Beautiful. Now we're going to close that and just show really briefly one other thing. Let's say I don't want to spend ages scrolling through my libraries. That's absolutely fine. Click on library again, and I'm just going to go straight for Noir, just to illustrate this one point. So Noir is, again, one of my most used pianos. I absolutely love it. If I was going to emotional, if I can see it. I've turned the previews off now. Delightful. So loading times are really, really quick as well. I've noticed it seems to be a little bit quicker than Kontakt 7. Beautiful. Some interesting paddling at the end there. Anyway, so we've got Noir. And again, look, it pops. It resizes. It's gorgeous. I can work with this beautifully. We've got those two new features. So I'm only showing you now, but you can load up the two new chords or phrases and start using them. So Noir, we've got the chords. And let's say you don't like the chord tool, you want to use the phrase tool instead. Just click there, phrases. Nice and easy, and they can just close it if you want to. And that's it. It is done. So the GUI just, for me, the sizing, everything pops. You don't have to fiddle around with the view and the rack mount. You got zoom right there. And again, for me, this is really important. I actually compose at 125, and I notice that generally fills the screen. So I do mention it in other videos. So I've got a really strange eye condition in my right eye that no one actually knows anything about and says my eyes are wonderful and fine. So no one can tell me what's wrong, but I see essentially 3 of everything. So visually, GUIs are really important to me. And this is why I'm over the moon with Kontakt 8, because normally, like, yeah, you can get to the view section, but you have to press a couple of buttons and open a few menus and then sort of resize. And you can only view in like the old Kontakt view in Kontakt 7. Change the zoom and all this. But now everything is at your fingertips. I can work all day with this. I can see everything clearly. You know, sometimes in videos I struggle to read the word color or tonal effect, dynamic, reverb, delay. So yeah, for me, it's brilliant. But the design is just leaps ahead of Kontakt 7. And we've got all these new features at our fingertips. And really, that's going to move us on to my second reason. So my second reason is new libraries. Upon the release of Kontakt 8, there are 2 brand new instruments available straight away. The first one is called Kithara, and this is a plucked cinematic string instrument. It's also been made in conjunction with Audio Impera, who makes some of my favourite cinematic instruments. And then we have Conflux. Conflux is a broader cinematic instrument too. We're going to look at both of these instruments. However, the big upgrade advantage is new libraries will appear from developers only for Kontakt 8 because they want to take advantage of the new features within Kontakt 8. So I wouldn't be surprised within the next couple of weeks we're going to see some Kontakt 8 only libraries. So really, upgrading is another good positive reason. Anyway, let's check out Kithara. So you get the idea, plucks and sound design. That's very cool. I like that. So that's better times. Yeah, so you can hear we got plucks, we got bows, we got little performances. I can see this being a lot of fun. And that's still going on as well. Okay. Infected. Yeah, I mean, I could spend all day just playing through these. See what the mod wheel does. It's doing something. But anyway, this is not an instrument review. This is just giving you a quick taste. I'll play one more. Yeah, it's very, very cool. So that's Kithara. It sounds beautiful, so I can't wait to dive into that a little bit more. And then the next one is Conflux. Now, I am just going to unload, because that's pretty cool. I'm going to type in Conflux. And here we have Conflux. Now, again, we'll notice... Well, I'll turn the previews off, didn't I? So we've got previews for everything. I'm going to turn them off again, though. Let's just load a Conflux up. Again, really quick loading times. Love it. So let's just play. Brilliant. Let's play another preset. I'm just going to whistle through presets. Cool. Now this one actually does have different banks and filters, so it's like sci-fi score plus. Very cool. So I'm just in the soundscapes. Brilliant. Let's check out some piano keys. Wow. Forsaken Ivory. Yeah, these sounds are awesome. Okay, I'm going to stop there, but you can see lots of sounds, lots of presets. If we go through all banks, these are big libraries. Very, very cool. So that is the advantage, again, advantage number 2 of upgrading new libraries. So number 3 is a workflow one. We are going to take a quick look at the combined presets. I'm well aware that multis are not a new thing, and there are loads of ways to load them in. You could drag them in from your desktop, you could use the rack mount and drag them over. You could even click on the banners, and the top right of the banner might have a drop-down menu. Actually, it's the bottom right, wasn't it? And you could access your multis there. Absolutely fine, but now they're right in front of you. And again, these are a little bit different. So I'm going to just use Kontakt as an example first. Now, if I just click on one of the ones with the preview. Sounds beautiful. Let's get loaded up. Now, this one is actually using the phrase tool, and we're using the Kontakt Factory 2. It's the synths, and it sounds like this. Okay, so already it's not just loading multis, it's using the new power, the new tools from Kontakt 8. So I'm just going to just close that, and I'll close that one as well. I'll just load up another one so we get an idea. And I'm sticking to the native instruments ones for a reason, but I'm going to show you some third party in a moment. So let's just do, I'm going to do Conflux. Let's do one from there. So again, all of these now have previews as well. Sounds great. So again, I'm using the phrase tool. It's got different phrases going on there. Now, if I go to a third-party library, you don't have to discharge it, by the way, every time. I just think it's a really, really cool feature. So let's use, let's just choose anything. Gonna go quantum. Right, so again, no previews, but if I double click on one, it will load nice and quick. And we can see we have a multi. Absolutely great. And again, I'm just going to discharge. Lovely stuff. I will actually try and load one and see if they write over each other, because before you would stack them upon each other, or I would anyway. Let's go for a swing multi. Let's load that in. There we go. Nice and quick. Anything could happen here. Okay. Beautiful. Okay, so a little bit of swing. What's at the top? Oh, this is so cool. Do this. Okay, cool. I can't stretch that far with a microphone in front of me. But you get the idea. So we get the swing multi there. Nothing at the top. Okay, cool. So let's just load one in that is different instruments and see what we get. So I'm going to go Symphobia one. Let's load anything. Now it should write over it. Yeah, so it's written over it as well. And of course, you can access them from the main GUI view as well. Okay, brilliant. So that's a bit stretching again. Absolutely fantastic, isn't it? Do one more. I need the mod wall, really. Okay. So I'm just playing around there. Yeah, just sitting here grinning. And again, there's something about this. Look at the top. We got the library, and then everything's kind of collapsed. And I really like that. And again, I could just close that and just look here. So, you know, we're in the old Metropolis Arc. So I've got the signed versions, but I kept the NKS ones for functionality reasons as well. Because I love sign and I love the NKS ones. In fact, I do have all of my NKS orchestral tools libraries installed, so I think they're wonderful. And I'm just going to sit here playing around now. Yeah, they sound cool. Okay, so combined presets are absolutely wonderful, and I love this layout. So let's go on to the next one. The fourth reason are these tools. Kontakt 8 has two really powerful composing tools. We have chords and we have phrases, and they look quite lonely in the Kontakt 8 window. So I hope Native Instruments do add more composing tools for us to use, because these are ace. Now, if I click on chords, you can see we have all these different presets. And they've all got different styles, different themes, and they have different chord extensions, for example. So I'm just going to load this one. It sounds a little bit jazzy. Now, you can see here we've got the chordal tools. I need to attach an instrument, and the way you do that is really, really simple. So I'm going to use Alicia's keys, and we go for any of them. Doesn't hugely matter. I'm going to turn previews off now, actually. There we go. So you can see it with the keyboard going on. Now, one thing that is quite apparent is we have these 7 steps for 7 chords, and we've got 7 circles at the top which denote different chord types. And across all 7 steps, there are different versions of the chord. So we've got our first version there, next one there in a different octave, and our next one there. Okay, and it stops there. So there are different inversions of playing each of these chords. You can set the key and you can set the mode, which is very, very cool. So if I go to D and I want to play D Lydian, so the first chord should be a D major. Well, obviously it's the 4th of the key, but getting something interesting there. There we go. Okay, so we get the idea. We have some different chords going on, and you can adjust. Where are we? For the first one. And the next blue. So you can change the chords in each of these, and like I said, adjust them yourself or use the randomize button. You can record your own chord as well. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, D minor. Okay, so you can record your own chord phrase in, and then you can assign them to each key. So it takes a little bit of working with it, but again, very, very cool. You can adjust the octave, you can humanize, which will obviously give it so that the keys hit at different times. And then there is a strum, so I'm just going to try that. Oh, okay. That's pretty cool. Very nice. So that's the chord tool. Now, again, I'm just going to discharge that. I'm going to keep Alicia's keys on, though. And it does sound a little bit like my sustain is stuck. So I can still hear that note going, but that will decay. So we're on the tools, aren't we? Let's load up some phrases. So we've got a phrase player at the top here. Okay, brilliant. So we're in C minor at the moment. And again, you can adjust the key, the mode to fit whatever you're doing. You can totally randomize everything. Brilliant. You can adjust dynamics, the octave, tempo, the amount of swing. You can change the length of the phrase this way, which is quite good. So if I just want just the first part of it. Oh, sorry. We're on this one, aren't we? So I'm just in the phrase. Now, I did try and look into, can you adjust the notes or anything going on there? And you can't by the looks of it. However, I feel like there's a MIDI drop going on. So you can drop the MIDI of that phrase into your DAW. Oh yeah, I did. It's only 2 notes though. But that's very cool. So yeah, it's a very, very powerful tool. Now, if I stick it onto a different instrument, so let's get Alicia's keys gone. What should we go for? I'm sort of sticking with the A's at the moment. It's gone to Bloom. So it's more of a pad instrument. Let's just hear what it sounds like with that. Yeah, so you get the idea. It sounds actually works really, really well. Let's go for different type of keys. So on Glacier keys from Fracture Sounds. Okay, so I do want to see the notes on the keyboard, so I'll play something different. That's pretty cool. Okay, that works really, really well. And let's just try one more instrument. So this is where I'd like to be able to filter. So I hope that is changed. Because I know exactly what I'd be looking for, I think. Let's go for a clarinet on Rose. Oh no, I've gone to landforms. Let's see what landforms comes out with. Always interesting. Not really what I was going for there. Here we go. I want the clarinet. I want to hear what a woodwind instrument sounds like. Landforms is great. It's very experimental sound design. So in this instance, it's not really what we want. Now I'm loading the entire instrument here. So this was taking a little bit longer. Yeah, so it works really, really well with different types of instruments. Very, very nice. I just want to do one more. What should we go for? Do you know what? I'm just going to search this way. Let's go for some string shorts. That I'll just load. Oops. So we can hear different types of strings working and different articulations. So I've gone for the Spitfire Audio Albion 1. I actually haven't updated this, thinking about it. Okay. We get the idea. So really, really cool stuff. And that is the phrase tool. Leaps are completely brand new for Kontakt 8, and there are 12 leap packs available. And what do they do? Well, you can manipulate and control loops and one-shots, and you can also combine them as well. it's a really cool way of looking at using loops and different samples. So let's check this out. There are 12 packs available for Kontakt 8 upon release. Click on any of them and you can hear a preview. Beautiful. Lots of different styles. Now I'm going to go 80s. I'm going to turn the preview off and just load this one. Beautiful. Now, you get two color keys. You get blue keys, you get green keys. The blue keys trigger the different sounds. So you can see from this window it's playing a loop. Lovely. Now, the green keys actually trigger all of these different controls at the top. So let's say I want to go up an octave. You play the corresponding green key, lower the octave. Double time. I want to throw a stutter in there. Go backwards. Oh, that's actually half time. That's double time. Loads of very cool things you can do. Now, you'll notice though, okay, so it's playing different loops per key. And you can combine these, no problem. I play them all together. But what if you want to play diatonically? So I spent a little bit of time, I was looking at the edit page. You can adjust the tuning. I could do it incrementally by semitones. However, that's not quite really what I wanted. I wanted a playable instrument. So I did notice if I go back to play, I've played that one in. And then if I click single, you can change the key as well, and you got more of a diatonic instrument, so that's really, really useful. So let's just load up another one. I love the Afrobeats one. I did just make my computer beep then. It's because I double click to load and then I double click again. Very silly. Yeah, put a little glitch there. I mean, come on, how easy was that just to create a nice little backdrop? Very, very cool stuff. So the leaps is another thing to explore in Kontakt 8. And of course, as time goes by, more of these will be released. And, you know, there's going to be an argument, well, if you just start using these as they are, everyone's going to sound the same, blah, 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 blah. And we hear that stuff all the time. But it's the fact you can manipulate these loops. You can chop them, you can slice them, you can combine different sounds. Of course, you can change keys. But you could just find a simple single loop might be the inspiration you need for your next composition, so you can compose around it. I just think it's really, really clever stuff. It's good. Play the drums, just the last one. got some instant funk drums. Now you can't play these sort of polyphonic. This is what happens when I turn my previews off. I made it beep again. I do apologise. Brilliant. So I was playing around with different drum styles. Yeah, really, really interesting idea. And again, something completely different. We're going to go on to my last point about why I think you should upgrade to Kontakt 8. My final point is a very, very quick one, but it's really, really valid. Kontakt 8 just works. Now, I've worked with this for several hours. I've done some composing with the new instruments, and it explored, played. Obviously, there's lots and lots to go through and sort of keep looking at. But I've not had a single stability issue. In fact, the whole user experience from start to finish has been amazing. Right from inputting serial numbers into native access. Now, I use native access too. And there was a time, believe it or not, in the not so long ago future where you put a number in and it could take up to half an hour to add the number, but previously it would go in instantly and the library would be there to download. So I'm really, really pleased to report everything just works seamlessly right from the inputting of the serial. Obviously downloads are easy, automatic scanning is fantastic, but just loading new instruments or different instruments, new instances of Kontakt, playing around the different features. Yes, I'm using a beta, but it is absolutely fantastic. So stability wise, brilliant. And I have had some crashes with the latest version of Complete Control. I haven't actually seen that yet. I don't know if there's any changes, but really this incarnation of Kontakt 8, you don't really need Complete Control. All the NKS features are there. The NKS integration is absolutely flawless. Obviously I get all the little images on my screen as well, and I can control the parameters. It's absolutely brilliant. So stability, workflow, with this software, you don't have to worry that your project's going to crash halfway through. Recalling projects, loading projects, it's all there. So yeah, small point, but incredibly valid. Absolutely spot on in terms of functionality and user experience. As ever, at the end of our videos, we have some closing thoughts, but this one is going to be different because I'm talking about Kontakt 8, not an instrument or a library. To cut to the chase, do I think you should upgrade? Yes, massively. The reason being, well, the whole video has been full of reasons. So we can talk about new instruments, we can talk about the combined presets, the tools, leaps, loops, one-shots, the way the new features are integrated, the way they're backwards compatible with your existing instruments. Absolutely wonderful. The GUI is exceptional. I love the way it's been just really thought about and the clarity of everything that you see on both the library page and of course the main page. Absolutely brilliant. It's like there is a new rack view. You can see all your instruments, access to new categories. You can put in the chords and the phrases tools if you want to. It all seamlessly works together. And yes, I have said that I'd like some kind of filtering system on the main instruments in the rack page, as it were, in the main page. But that's something that may change between me getting Kontakt and then a week later it's been released. I don't know. So take that one with a pinch of salt, but you can always just click on the library tab anyway and just find your library that way. So it's not even a big deal. But the changes are fantastic. The user experience is absolutely fantastic. It's incredibly stable. I didn't have a single crash during my time, and I have spent hours and hours and hours with it. But the biggest thing for me is this seems to be the biggest change in Kontakt we've seen in recent years. I could argue Kontakt 7, yes, it had some new features, had a new GUI, the way it worked was different, but it didn't have these new tools. It didn't have the leaps, it didn't have the or the multis or the combined presets together. And I feel like for longevity, upgrading is a great idea because new libraries will feature these new tools and these new functions of Kontakt. So we're going to see a lot of Kontakt 8 only libraries. And I don't think that's a bad thing because Kontakt has just got far more powerful. So we have access to sort of different angles of composing and producing music. And I think that's what it's all about. Native instruments are just making composing and producing music easier and easier by the day, and more creative and more flexible. And that's really, for me, why I would upgrade to Kontakt 8. I'd like to take the opportunity to thank Native Instruments for sending Kontakt 8 over ahead of time so we can make this video. And of course, they have sent us the new libraries as well, which we are going to be featuring on this channel over the next few days. Really, the fact we had it before release, so I could play around with it. And I do keep mentioning it's a beta, so things could change. But really, as far as betas go, it is absolutely fantastic. So yeah, if you like what you heard, feel free to leave a like on the video and drop us a comment. I believe Kontakt 8 is something that's going to get spoken about a lot, and about the advantages and disadvantages. Of course, I really are scratching the surface. I mean, for me, it takes probably, weeks, maybe a couple of months just to get really comfortable with new software and make it second nature. But, I just said advantages and disadvantages. I can't see any disadvantages for upgrading to Kontakt 8. So there we go. This is how I'm going to be using Kontakt from now on. No more complete control for me. Straight in with Kontakt 8. And yeah, I think it's going to be great. If you've not done so already, please check out our other videos. We've got lots and lots and lots of videos, over 300 now on our channel, so there's something for everyone. And of course, if you've not hit that subscribe button, please hit the subscribe button. We are now on 12% of our viewers are subscribers, because our numbers have gone up a little bit. If you're watching this video, please hit subscribe, because why wouldn't you? 5 seconds just to click that button. No, joking aside, it means the world to us, because it spreads the word of the Sampleist far and wide. It just drives us to keep making videos, and we hope we are benefiting the composing and producing community by making videos like this, so you can get an idea about what these instruments sound like and how the software works. So until next time, have a great day, and yeah, keep making that amazing music. Take care.